Hi folks, you're with Tacitus today, your pushback channel, and thank you for joining this radio live stream. In this essay, I'd like to talk about a particular interview that I saw online at a new CEO of a major sort of media, or I'd call it a propaganda pushing organisation, and a news, I should call it news or entertainment, infotainment. And just looking at the heads of all the major news corporations, particularly the people who are tasked with deciding what we see on the TV screens or the cable television for that matter, or indeed on the movie screens. And coming back to this interview, now the new CEO was who doesn't appear to have any obvious commercially successful credentials to his name. You could find, I would have thought, many thousands of people who from a commercial perspective would have been much better for this role. But what comes across fairly clearly is that the guy's an activist. He's an activist that believes that being a good world citizen is pushing LGBTQ issues. It is pushing trans issues. It's pushing anti-white issues. It's pushing propaganda that we're surrounded by white supremacist Nazis, and it's pushing the idea that we have to change the world. It's urgently we must change the world because the Nazis are everywhere and they're about to take over. They're about to take over and take the world and tear it to pieces. Every baby will be torn limb from limb. Blood will flow. So this is the absurd and idiotic, insane, paranoid, stupid propaganda that's pushed. Now, if the world is under threat, it's certainly not from those people. Quite the opposite. It's the globalists that are threatening the world, and the threat is dire. But coming back to this fairly softly spoken guy and mild-mannered sort of sounding guy, but his words were poison in my view. Now, I guess it's not hard to see that all the people that are, again, are deciding what we see in the news, whether it's in print or electronically, or in movie screens, it doesn't matter. There's a certain group and class of people that seem to control 95% plus of it, and they have very anti-Christian, anti-Gentile, anti-straight white male views. And seem to share those views pretty much. Now, it doesn't mean there aren't outsiders. There are. And it doesn't mean that there aren't people of that same persuasion that have other opinions. There definitely are. But those other people don't have the sort of power and influence that these dudes do. So given that, we need to keep that in some sort of perspective. So I was listening to the interview, and he is very much on board with the woke globalist project, very much on board with it, and believes that it is a virtuous thing to do to dismantle Christian, white Gentile society. That can only be a good in itself. It can only be good. It will create good. It is good. It will further good. It will make good happen. How and why? Hey, it just will. Now, I guess we need to realise that this guy is, for example, his mother is or was, I know she's still alive, was a Jewish school teacher and a radical activist. She was into feminist issues, gay lesbian issues, but most importantly, she had the view, as many Jews do, by the way, that the biggest threat to the Jews has always been throughout history, and it's never their fault; it's always the other people's fault. Throughout history, it's been the Christian straight white male Gentiles have been the biggest threat. So if the straight white Christian Gentile world and power can be crushed, absolutely crushed into the dust, then by definition, Jews will never, ever, ever be persecuted again. Now, that's too good an objective to pass up. And if you've got the propaganda platform to contribute to and hasten the demise of this Christian straight white male Gentile world, then why would you not do it? Why would you even hesitate for a moment? Of course you do it, because you're protecting your people, and not only you're correcting all the past wrongs and hurts and misdeeds, and there's a huge propaganda, sort of a glowing orb of propaganda in the middle of that one, but you're also protecting the future so that never again, never ever again will this happen to your people in your diaspora. And so if you're going to pick, if you were a globalist, you're a globalist sitting at your desk and saying, I want to get someone who's really, really motivated to destroy the Western world and sort of crush it into pieces so that we can just walk in and take everything at our leisure, then you would find, well, I want them motivated, I want them really focused, I want them really burning with a desire to destroy this white Western Christian world. And then you would pick these guys. Now, this particular guy, he's got the family background, the activism, the whole thing, went through the Jewish education system. That talks endlessly. In fact, I'm not sure they can cover anything else about all the misdeeds that have been done by Christians and straight white male Christians and so on. So he's got all this baggage to come along, and then he's given a platform to. Now, as when you're sitting there, say, how can we destroy the straight white Christian world? Well, if we promote homosexuality, if we promote trans, if we promote this, if we promote black lesbians, if we promote racism, if we constantly push and push and push at this, it will just cause the whole society to disintegrate. We can cover ourselves in virtue saying, well, we're just trying to create equality. We're just looking after the downtrodden. We're only representing. We're giving them voices. These are important social issues that we all should be. So you can dress yourself climate change. You can dress yourself in all that virtuous clothing, but in reality, what you're attempting to do is to say, well, where's the biggest threat to our people ever come from? It's from these guys. Let's crush them, let's destroy them. And they just happen to be on the same page as the globalists. And indeed, many other, the Brahmin Indians, for example, they're all on the same page as well. So that's something to consider whenever you look at the propaganda you see all around. That's typically and nearly always the background driving issue. You've been with Tacitus today, your Pushback channel, and thank you for listening.